Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Telecom Talk, where we're all about the travel, tech, and talk. It's Tech Tuesday again, so today's relevant topic, computer backup. The title to be specific, computer backup, the what's, the whys, and the hows. Part 1. This is probably going to be a two-part series because I'm trying to keep this fairly short. It seems like there's been a lot of talk about ransomware and backups on the news lately, so that's why I thought I'd touch up on the subject of backups. A good backup can help you recover from a ransomware attack without paying and fairly quickly. It can help you recover from a bad installation, such as Windows 11. Windows 11 is a hot topic right now, and unfortunately, it's a problematic installation. A lot of problems with it. It's just going to be hard for a lot of people, and if they have a good backup, should they need to, they'll be able to recover quite easily. It won't be so painful. A good backup can help you recover from a general system failure. A general system failure is you get up in the morning, you turn on your computer, and nothing happens. You may end up sending your computer to the shop where he may tell you the hard drive is dead and there's nothing he can do. They could do something called data recovery, but that is very, very expensive. So you don't want to go that route. He may just say they'll need to reinstall the operating system on your computer, and they may not be able to save all your data. So if you have a backup at home, it doesn't matter. You can just take those in, and when they do the recovery for you, they'll have all of your personal files because you will have backed them up. And then the final thing that a backup can save you from is just plain old human error. Sometimes we erase a file accidentally and we can't recover it. With a backup, you'll be able to recover it. I'm just going to touch on ransomware, just 2 points, two really quick. One, the subject of ransomware is so large, so complicated, it's a video in itself, and we're not going to go there right now. But, very briefly, ransomware is when someone breaks into your computer, they take control of it, and they lock you out, such that you aren't able to use your files anymore. You're not able to watch movies, you're not able to listen to music, you're not able to look at important documentation like your taxes or your payrolls or contracts or anything like that you have saved on the computer, and you're not able to look at the pictures that you've saved on the computer. So obviously, a failure of that sort, if you were to be compromised and victim of a ransomware attack, it would be very painful, very uncomfortable. It could be very embarrassing. It could be very embarrassing, and it can be very expensive because the gist of a ransomware attack is to blackmail you and get money from you. So yes, it can be expensive. What is a backup? Simply put, a backup is just a spare copy of your files that you keep somewhere else. There are two types of backup. There is making a copy of a file via a file manager or the command line. That's one type. An image backup is a specialized piece of software programming that can make an image of your entire computer. Therefore, everything that you have on there can be recovered if you need to. So, let's go into that in a little bit more detail. When I say a file manager, I'm talking about My PC or File Explorer. That can be found on Windows. If you have Linux or Mac, they have the very same thing called File Explorers. Just a simple program. In fact, here's an example. As you see right here, this icon is a File Explorer. If I wanted to copy a file, let's open this folder for example. I've highlighted a file called monitor.jpg. If I wanted to copy that, simply right click, the menu opens up, I go to copy, and then I go to where I want to place that file. But if I want to place that file here on my desktop, as you can see, the mouse is on the desktop on the cell phone, I right click, I paste, and there it is. I've copied the file from one place to another. That's using a file manager. Every computer system has that. You could also do it via a command line prompt. Most of you guys have seen this. Instead of pointing and clicking, you'd use a command line copy. First you need to see what's in there. These are your files. Anyway, that's a command line. I don't want to go through that right now because if you're watching this video, chances are you're not really the person that's into a command line that much. This is a very basic video for those who are not that technically inclined. But I do want you to know you can do it one of three ways: file manager, command line, or an image backup. And so that was a command line prompt. One brief note: when you're making a backup, it's best to put that copy on another drive. So if your computer is C drive, if all your storage, if all your folders are on the C drive, then you want to make your copy or place your copy on another drive like D drive, a completely separate drive. Right now, we're looking at a thumb drive, which is one method, one drive, one place where you can store your files if you need to. Similar to that is a portable drive, a USB powered portable drive. As you see here, you can copy your files over there. You could have more than one internal drive, more than one drive inside your computer. As a matter of fact, I do, many people do. It's a great place to keep your extra files. You might even want to consider a NAS drive. NAS stands for NAS, or Network Attached Storage. Like you see here, this is just a box, but this particular box has not one, but two drives inside of it. So you have a drive there, and if something should go wrong, this drive is an exact copy of that drive. So it's a very secure way of keeping your files, a NAS drive. You don't have to do that right now, but as you become more and more serious about your data, as the things that you put on your computer become more and more important, valuable to you, then it's a consideration. In addition to those physical drives, you can store things in the cloud. Use a cloud storage. You can use a cloud storage solution like OneDrive, which is cloud storage from the Microsoft company. You can use Dropbox. You can use InSync. You can use Google Drive. You can use iCloud, which is a Mac product. So there are lots of online storage situations you can use. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I've got a few of them here. As you look down at the bottom right hand corner, you see me hovering over that icon. That icon displays the word Dropbox. So I'm using that online storage. This is one called InSync. I'm using that. And here's OneDrive. That's the Microsoft. So I'm using three. In fact, I'm even using four. I'm using Google Drive. The good thing about these, most of these are free. There's a free 5 gigabyte limit. So you can store up to 5 gigs of data and not have to pay. If you want to store more, then they vary, but there's a fee for them. So free, 5 gigs on all of these. And if you want to store more, they have a premium package where you pay a little bit more. I'm going to talk a little bit about the image creation form of backup. That's the picture of your entire hard drive. There are a few limitations to that form of backup, though. The first is ownership. You must own the file to be able to move it or modify it. And believe it or not all the files are on your computer or your files. If you're sharing the computer with someone like your brother Bob, then some of the files are yours and some of the files are Bob's. And you won't be able to copy and modify Bob's files. So you need a way to back up and copy Bob's files too. You want to back up. You want Bob to have his files too. I'm sure you're a nice kind of person that would like to help everybody. So if you are not the owner of that file, you won't be able to copy and move it. Also, the computer itself has some files that you are not able to copy or move. Oftentimes they're invisible or hidden, or they're just in places where you wouldn't normally be looking. But the computer itself has files, and you are not allowed to copy and certainly not allowed to modify those files except for under special conditions. Another limitation to that type of backup is you have to be aware of a file's existence before you can back it up. And what I mean by that is you at least have to know that file's name, and if you don't know that file's name, then you have to know exactly where that file is. If you don't know one of the two of those, then you are not going to be able to back that file up. So you have to be aware of its existence to a certain point before you can do anything. So those are the three limitations that revolve around copying or backing up using the file manager copy. The second way to back up is the image, where you use a piece of software, a program that is dedicated specifically to this, and this piece of software copies everything on a computer. It copies your files, it copies anybody else's files, it copies a computer file. It copies the invisible files, it copies the hidden files. And even more important, it copies settings. So let's say you have your computer and you log on to a Wi-Fi, and you get a password, you log on to your home Wi-Fi. If you have to restart your computer or reset your computer, erase everything and start over, you're going to need to know that password again, and you're going to need to put all of that information in. If you use the backup via the file manager, then you're going to have to manually put that in. If you created an image of your drive, then all that information will be saved. All the settings that you did, all the files that you made. If you've taken pictures of some people and uploaded onto your computer, if you use the image process, everything will be automatically saved. And speaking of automatically, you will be able to set this image program up to back up automatically every day, every week, every month, every hour, whatever you want. It will do it automatically. It's a little bit more complicated to set up, but once it's set up, all you do is press one button and it runs, or you can set it to run on a timer and you don't even have to press a button. Even if you're using your computer when that time comes, in the background that stuff will happen and it won't disturb you while you're doing the other things on the computer. So automated backup, which can be attached to or which is part of the image backup system, is a very good way to go. The image backup, very good way to go. A little bit more complicated to set up, but once it's set up and running, it's a great way to maintain your system. So now, knowing what we know, today you should start backing up your system. Do whatever you can. It doesn't have to be the most complicated form. You can do the file manager backup. Just copy a few things to, if you have an extra drive, to that drive. If you have a online storage account, to the online storage account. Start today, and if you should happen to have an accident, it won't be as complicated for you. When you get a little bit more time, start reading up on the image backup system. That way, you'll be able to move to an automated system. An additional note, what we're talking about, the backup, the process of backing up, is applicable. It applies to computers, cell phones, tablets. It applies to Windows computers, Mac computers, Linux computers. There'll be a small difference in the procedure, but the concept is the same for all of these devices. So those were the what's and whys of why you should back up your computer. The next video will be the hows. We'll go into detail. I'll show you the backup. I'll back up a system here and let you see what that looks like. Show you which programs you use, show you how you calculate how many files you're going to use, etc., etc., etc. Thanks for joining us on Telecom Dog, where we're all about the travel, tech, and talk. We'll see you in the next video.